for her.
Yeah, it does work for her. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hello and welcome Mike Ashebrander.
Thank you.
It's always good to see you.
Yes, it is.
I was explaining this morning, we just got back from a road trip and visiting the kiddos up in Ohio, and we got in last night. So today we're hanging in, but I'm sleepy for some reason. I did so well throughout the whole trip, and then get here and I get sleepy.
It's because we're back at work instead of.
That's right.
Ain't that it? When you work so much,
fun work.
That's it. Now we want.
Yeah, vacations wear me out more than work does. Anybody else have that problem?
Yeah, that's a good problem.
Oh yeah, exactly. All right. Well, what I'm going to do today is we're going to talk about a lead drought and why quality prospects may not be making it to your calendar. All right. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I say, let's just go ahead and get started. So if you're joining us right now, pop in wherever you're coming from, where you're located, so we can give you a shout out to your hometown and appreciate you guys joining us today. Hopefully we'll have quite a few on today to learn about this, because I think this is a topic that really resonates with a lot of people.
I think it's a very pertinent conversation in the space we're in right now.
Yes, it is.
In the economy. So
exactly.
Hopefully we're going to give you guys some really good tips here to help move the needle for you.
Exactly. And I'm going to go ahead and kick us off here and get started. And we're going to, for those of you who don't know us yet, we're going to do a quick intro so you get to know us just a little bit better here. But I'm going to go ahead and get started a little bit on what we're doing here. All right. The agenda today, we're going to cover 5 critical lead generation mishaps. All right. And one of those is really critical. All right. I'm going to talk about why they're happening. Then we're going to help you address each one of these, right? And at the end, if you want to get help or more help with this than what we share with you today, we're going to give you that opportunity as well. All right. So let's keep rolling here. I'm going to do a quick intro first, and then I'll hand it over to Michael, and then we'll hand it over to our illustrious co-host, Mike Ashebrander. All right. So really quick, I am Tanya Eberhard. I am the founder of BrandFace, and my journey started back all the way in 1988 when I became part of the media world. I became a media sales rep, and I traveled all over the city, and I would talk to people about advertising, and they would slam the door in my face as fast as I could say, hello, and then it was all over, right? And a lot of that was because I was young, I was green, I really didn't know what I was doing, but I did know one thing. If I wanted people to view me differently, I really needed to change the way I presented myself. So I began approaching my clients really differently, became one of the first radio salespeople in the country to have my own website. About 6 months or so in, I realized, hey, you know what? This has turned around for me. This is working really, really well. Now, I did not even know the term personal branding back in 1988, guys. Had no clue. All right. So it was working well for me. So I thought, you know what? If it works for me, maybe it can work for my clients. So I began bringing my clients into the studio, helping position them as a personal brand, a face of their business, help them tell their story and perfect their call to action, et cetera. And over the next 18 years, I did that. And so the strong thread of personal branding went throughout my entire career. And in 2012, began writing the first book in the BrandFace series. And about halfway through the book, realized this is a business. And so here we are today. We have clients across 7 countries, 37 states in the US and counting. And we're happy to be here today sharing with you how personal branding really makes an impact in how you're seen in the business world. All right. And that's around the same time I met Michael, by the way, was when I was writing the first book.
Yes. And picking up where she left off, I had been a serial entrepreneur. I still am all my life. I worked for 6 months out of high school for one company, and I have been totally on my own ever since. and real estate auctions. These were my main fortes. I'm an auctioneer by trade. That was my first passion and love. And then my mentor told me to get my real estate license. Maybe I can make a little extra money. And so we grew from there. I've always been a real estate investor. I believe I was raised by marketers. I believe in promotions. I believe in throwing money at marketing and making sure that it works. But I was always under the concept that half of the marketing will work. You don't know which half, so you have to spend all of it, right? Throw it up against the wall, hope that it would stick. And then somewhere along my 20-year mark is when I met Tanya. Being in business, and Tanya presented something totally different based on what she just told you guys. She sold me marketing and gave me branding. And what happened when we did that, when we branded me and used personal branding principles that we're going to share with you today, it totally transformed how my business operated. I actually received an ROI now on marketing. I literally have an ecosystem that I can tell you exactly how many calls comes from this platform, that platform, all these places that my personal brand shows up. And now I'm not a promoter that just throws money away. I am a promoter that throws money that returns to me in an ROI. And we're going to share some of those things for you today. I own a boutique brokerage in north of Atlanta that is growing. It quadrupled its income on the first year that I hired Tanya, when she really literally just put the blinders on me and had me focus at some of the things that we're going to talk about today. So.
Yep. All right. And now we have the pure pleasure of handing it over to Mike Ashebranner. Mike, take it away.
He left out the good part. All right, here's my interpretation. Here's my version. He came for marketing and he left with branding and love, folks. Yeah,
that's right.
That's the Hallmark version right there. All right. So if you don't know me, my apologies. But thank you, Tanya and Michael, for this opportunity. Folks, they helped me out. They cleaned this up. All right. So they are magicians in the field. All right? But I am professionally known as the Redneck Connector and proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. And long story short, if I ever had one, it's just full of heart-centered, high-level professionals. You know, I wasn't alone. At the time, I thought I was alone. Over 3 years ago, I was trying to, be a dog that meows. People kept telling me to bash my square peg and round hole and all of these things. And it just didn't work for me. And, I wasn't the only one. Nowadays, people have a desire to make an impact, right? They're leaving the so-called safety and security of their corporate jobs or whatever they're doing to go out there and make a difference, right? It could be inequality, homelessness, whatever it is that keeps you up at night. But the sad fact is they won't. Most people won't. All right, this is an arena here, right? Entrepreneurship. We want to do it. We don't know how to do it, right? And so that's where the Hounds comes in. We have the people, resources, and support to help you get it done, right? Be around like-minded people and ecosystem that can really help elevate your status, help you get the internal right, and go out there and build the dadgum business of your dreams so you can make an impact, have that freedom of time and money. And then if you have trouble with that, hey, I help you. When they build the Lamborghini, I help you learn how to drive it to the finish line. So there you go. Hey, take notes. This ain't no infomercial, folks. Take notes. We're going to get down to it. It'll help you move. Promise.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mike. All right, let's jump right into the 5 critical missteps that are keeping these high quality people off of your calendar. All right. This one to me is by far the most important. All right. We don't want to be in the sea of sameness. What happens when you're in that quote sea of sameness? It means you really haven't differentiated yourself from everybody else. Right. And ideal clients really have no idea what sets you apart. Okay. They really don't know what makes you different in that space. And so what is that solution? How do we fix the sea of sameness?
That we don't want to be in, right? Because all of your competitors are in the same spot. Well, number one, we define exactly who you want to attract. That's the very first thing we need to try to figure out. Number two, we need to know what makes you different. Number 3, we need to create a compelling and core branding message. Number 4, create an imagery that supports the story. And number 5, display that message and image everywhere you possibly can put it.
Yeah. And let's put this in perspective for a second. Okay. Because most people think, well, my branding is fine. People know what I do. All right. If you're thinking that, blow it up, let it go. All right. Because great branding isn't just about being known for what you do. It's about being known for being different inside of what you do. And there's a huge difference with that, right? We can say, I'm an attorney, I'm a leadership coach. Well, yeah, you and how many thousands of others,
Millions.
right? Millions. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. So that really is what makes a huge difference. To me, that sea of sameness is the biggest challenge that we face. We've got to differentiate ourselves first.
Yeah. Okay. So being in the real estate world, right? Yeah. Everybody that's on this call knows at least 15 real estate agents. And most of them probably are in your family. But do they really do real estate? I doubt it, right? There is 2 million real estate agents across the United States. And I think there's like 100,000 that make money at it. There's a reason for this, okay? And the reason for this is because everybody else just puts on their badge and says, I'm a realtor. And the difference in the people who build a brand are the ones that can go into any restaurant and they know that is the realtor. That is a realtor that is different. I learned this from her, and that's the things that's the very first thing that she set on my mind straight. It doesn't matter how much money you spend in the advertising, and it doesn't matter all the places it showed. It doesn't matter if you have a license. It doesn't matter if state said that you're equipped and up to do this. What matters is what the other people perceive you as, right? And when you're in a profession like I'm in, where you got 2 million competitors in the space, most of them live in the small town of Jefferson where I live. You have to be different if you're going to stand out. And that's the number one thing that branding is going to bring for you. You can apply that to whatever profession you're in. Yeah. Coaches, speakers, authors, podcasters, you still have the same amount of competition out there. Sadly for that, in most industries, it's unregulated. So you even have another problem. You've got to differentiate yourself. Take it away, Mike.
Yeah, I was waiting for my cue. I'm behaving today. They're not ready for me to behave. So, well, as Tanya was saying, and Michael, then we have to stand out, right? There's 1 billion active people on LinkedIn alone, folks. It's amazing, right? But then it's like, well, we have to stand out. It's like grass, right? How do we stand out? And then you see a lot of things that are just not conducive for business people, right? There's different tactics for different jobs. So here's what I'm saying. A lot of folks are learning and being taught or just gravitating toward dog catching. What we're talking about is bug zapping, right? Once people know who you are before they even see you, they saw your profile, they read an article, it all works together. Then they come to you. So bug zapping, you plug a bug zapper into the country, plug it in all night, things fly into it. It doesn't move a muscle, right? And dog catching is what we're prevalently taught. So here's what I'm telling you. The problem out there, think about it. They can't distinguish your heartfelt, kind, and valuable DM from the other stupid 50 DMs they got. So you need to learn how to reverse the script, put the horse before the cart, so to speak. And that's what we're talking about. So in this example, bring value, make sure you give it to the right people, right? And tag folks, right? Go love on their things. That's what we do in the hounds. That's what I teach in my master attractor framework. We're flipping the script. I'm not thirsty. I don't want to look like thirsty. I don't want to pretend like I'm selling or come off wrong, right? So what we're talking about is get you, who you are, dialed in, and then learn how to work that brand. Go out there and connect people. So for this, I tag folks. I brought value to other people. And guess what they did? They come back and did that for me. And that's what happens but they know what I do. And I don't have to go out there and be careful, folks. I'm not knocking things. What I'm saying is, we're not paid to get likes on platforms like Alignable and LinkedIn. Right? What do we get paid for? Connect with the person behind the screen, build those relationships, right? That lead to know, like, and trust. So instead of going out there being seen, go out there to bring 2 things, value and curiosity. Because when they come back and see how well you're dialed in, they could be clients now, later, or referral partners, folks. So strive for value and leave off the CTA once this week. Seriously, just leave off the CTA, give somebody value, and let the chips fall where they may. See what happens. Test me on this. All right, let's go to the next one. We got a lot of more.
We do. We got to keep moving. All right. So number 2, big misstep is keeping those quality people off your calendar is the lead illusion, right? An inability to distinguish the curious from the committed. All right. So how do we fix that? Well, you look at what you're marketing. Okay. That's being dialed in, having that getting away from the sea of sameness, being differentiated. Look at where you're marketing. That's really big. And you can't know where you need to market until you know who it is you're marketing to, right? So
very big.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 3, you got to serve before you sell, which is what Michael was talking about, leaving off the CTAs this week and just trying to serve people. Number 4, make your call to action specific. When we do have call to actions, we're not specific enough. We don't tell the people what we want them to do. And then we need to get good at asking qualifying questions.
Yep, exactly. All right. And so, in fact, here's an example. Okay. What you're looking at is actually an example from my booking form. So when people decide, hey, I really want to talk to them and see if there's something that they can help me with in terms of my personal brand, I actually ask this question in the form before they choose a date and time. So Tanya can be fully prepared for your call. What specifically would you like to discuss about your brand? Right. And what that does is it allows us to see who's serious about talking about specifically their brand, or who might just be looking for, hey, I just want to get on more podcasts. I want to do this. I want to do that. Things that don't have anything to do with the brand. Right. And so when those people that want other things get on the calendar, that's called unqualified. Okay. So we have to really make sure that we're getting the right people to the calendar, because I got news for you. You guys don't have any more time than we do. Right. It's really important to protect that time.
Yeah, like a prime example of that is we were on a call with a lady a couple of weeks ago, and we helped her realize that her ideal customer couldn't afford her services. Yeah. Like, that's pretty important to find out. You know what I mean? And so Exactly. If you want to beat a lead drought, the one way to beat a lead drought is to make sure you're not spending any time on the phone with people who can't afford your services right off the bat. You got to change something about that. And we helped her figure that out through qualifying questions.
Yep. And Mike, any tips on this one?
Yeah, and don't charge $1 million for a 99-cent hot dog, right? That's another thing I learned the hard way. But just to cap it off, think about it, folks. When we think of sales and marketing, think about what conjures up in your mind. And how many times do you see business folks pressuring vegans to eat at their steakhouse, right? Think about that. If you build a steakhouse and you have nothing but vegans in there, okay, you're broke and they're angry. What we're talking about here is, how do I put myself out there, not sell and push. How do I draw and attract steak eaters, right? Who would really appreciate our steak. And in fact, if we do this right, the vegans in this situation will go tell the steak eaters, right? And who knows, if we get enough vegans, we might just add on a little vegan bar or something, or we might partner with a chain. My point is, just step back, get this together. Identify who you are, right? What Tanya is talking about, what they help and do before you go out there. Because here's what happens. We think we're clear a lot of times. We think we're being clear, but here's what they hear in the networking event. Blah, 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 blah. How do I know that? Because I did that for too long, right? So take the time, get back to center, right? Plan, test things, try, go build relationships. There's no waste of time there. Go out there and support others, right? Because when it's time for you to go out there and share with what you got, it's so nice to have hundreds of people who are ready to go help you back, right? That's how me and Tanya and the hounds here in the comments, we play ping pong. Instead of worrying about how I market me all the time, I go out there and push them up. And then what happens? We get to do things like this together. This is what we're doing in the HOB. So get the branding dialed in, get yourself dialed in, and go out there and be of service. People will notice. High value people will notice that immediately, right? You look different in a good way.
Oh, yeah. All right. Moving on to number 3 reason you have unqualified folks on your calendar. And that is what we call the out of season strategy, investing in the right thing, but at the wrong time. If I had a mere nickel for every person I heard this from, I'd be in the Caribbean right now. I mean, let's just say that it happens all the time. Okay. So how do you fix this? And by the way, what I'm specifically talking about here is in our world is people come to us and they are already frustrated by the time they get to the phone call. It's like, oh my gosh, I've hired so many people. I've spent so much money on marketing. I've tried all of this. None of it's worked. Right. And they're so frustrated. And I understand that. And that's what we call the out of season strategy. So how are we going to fix this out of season strategy? First of all, acknowledge the order of things, right? It's what I just said. Don't go to market with a product that isn't finished yet.
Mhm.
Okay. Imagine putting a widget out to market and only half of it's built. Well, that's really what happens a lot when you don't get that brand dialed in. All right. The second thing is when you're looking to hire somebody, there are so many people out there that say, oh, I can help you. I can help you build your brand here. I can help you build your brand there. And next thing you know, they're talking about, oh, yeah, I can help you build your brand through doing some videos, shorts on YouTube. I can help you build your brand by building your website for you. So stop for a minute, make that record sound, right? Okay. And ask yourself, is this person going to help me build my brand, or are they helping me with something that will promote my brand? Because if it's designed to promote your brand on some type of marketing platform or tool and it's not built yet, you are utilizing an out of season strategy. All right.
Yeah. So you have to acknowledge the order of things. You have to ask yourself, am I building a brand or promoting a brand? You have to answer it. And let me help you with that. Like if you want to know if you have a brand, you have to answer 5 critical questions about your brand. And number 4, you have to strategize before you even start to spend any of the money promoting that brand that answers those 5 questions. And number 5, you have to go organic first. So something that we teach a lot about is building the brand first before you even promote the brand. You have to do that absolutely first. Every client that has ever told us at the potential stage that they were going to go out and sell some things and then come back and build their brand has come back to us. And when we build their brand, they say, I wish we would have done this first. Every one of them.
No, there's no question about that.
Yep. The 5 critical questions that your brand should ask, and you take a screenshot of this, your brand should answer. Who do you serve? How do you serve them? What qualifies you to serve them? How does it make their life better? And what makes you different in that space?
Yep. And until you answer those things, you don't even have a foundation to build on, right? You have to have definitive answers to these questions. Then you have the foundation to build the brand.
All right. What you said earlier, I'll invest in X after I get some clients. It's like saying, hey, I'll go to the hospital after I'm well and not sick anymore, right? Like,
yeah.
And I'm not, listen, I drove off the cliff more times. That's why people hire us, because we've drove off the cliff more times than you had. We failed more times than people tried. And it's a horrible place to be. Just keep repeating the same mistakes. But here's the only point I want to make here, folks. Once you get super clear, right? It's clear to your audience. It's clear to people who would need your service. It's also clear for people who don't, right? You self-select when you're dialed in. At that point, guess what you get to do when it comes to the hands-on marketing? You get to operate like a doctor, not a pharmaceutical salesperson. And what do I mean by that? And boy, if you want to really get on the radar to some high-level people who don't advertise their high level, right? And they don't, because they don't want to be treated like ATM machines, right? There you go. But if you really want to get on their radar, operate as a doctor. If the doctor doesn't walk in, you don't walk into his office. Could you imagine? You walk into the doctor office and she says, hey, I got some fungal medicine to sell. And you have a chest cold, but she's trying to sell you fungal medicine, right? And I know it sounds stupid, but look around, right? Look in your DMs. That's what's full of. When you sit down and dialed in, that does something to your internal compass. And you will quickly understand, once you learn the framework, once you get around folks like the hounds of business, right? You're going to know, hey, how do I talk to the person? How do I identify what's wrong and going on and stopping them, right? And then you'll build customized solutions according to your dialed-in framework. See, that's what I was lacking. I was just all over the place. I was like running around the football field in the stadium. I didn't know the boundary lines. And that's a lot of problems. So once you get dialed in, then it becomes more simple. It's not easy. You have to work. But it gets simple because now you're not hoping the other person, you're not going to manipulation or thirsty tactics. You're over here truly trying to solve that daggone problem. And remember, they're here because they saw that in you, right? You go to a doctor because that's your favorite doctor. That's the person that can do it, and bedside manner is good. The combination of trust and skill is what we're talking about. If you want to stand out and fly like a lightning bolt, dial in and become a doctor. Does that make sense, folks? Right? Skill plus trust equals the best relationship capital. And I'm telling you right now, that's changing the game. Folks who are breaking records and folks who are declining, they mastered those two. And that's what we're talking about.
Exactly. All right, number 4. Let's move to this one. It is called the time vampire, right? Time suck. Spending time in the wrong rooms with the wrong prospects. I know Mike Ashburner can talk about this better than anybody, so I'm gonna lean into him for just a moment. But let's talk about first, how do we fix that? Number 1, that's what Mike's going to talk about next. Joining that right community of people that could either be your clients or could be somebody that introduces you to clients, right? So be intentional with your time too. Very intentional. If you find you're in the wrong room of people, just gracefully make your way out, okay? But make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing inside of that group, supporting everybody, right? Give before you take is what we discussed earlier. And ask these questions, okay?
Are these people likely to use my service? If they're not, don't talk to them. Right. Or talk to them on Sunday afternoon or something, right? Do these people serve my customers? So that's important, because if they do, then you want to spend time with them because they can help with referral procedures. And then, can they afford my services? Like we talked about earlier, that's very important that you break down whether or not you're selling something at the right price to the people that can afford and need those services. These are time sucks that you end up in, that you didn't, a good friend of mine used to say, you spend just as much money feeding a good horse as you do a bad one. And so you got to think about those things. Am I getting the right people to the phone call, and are they qualified? Do they need my services, and can they help me?
Exactly. And just a quick note about that, everybody thinks, okay, if I just put myself out there, I need as many fans as I can get, right? I don't disagree with that whatsoever. If you think of growing your business like this, let's say you are the talent on stage, which, you are, if you're the face of your business, right? That talent on stage needs to have that awesome fan base out in the audience, supporting us, cheering us on, sharing our name with others, right? But it's the people who are interested in going the extra mile, going backstage to meet you, to learn about you, following the caravan, all of those kind of things, right? Those are the ideal customers we seek. Mm-hmm. So think about both of those sets of people as you move forward into different communities. All right, Mike, take it away.
Yeah, and when it comes to different communities, do your research. Not one size doesn't fit all, right? Some are going to be, catering and marketing to other people. And then there's values, right? Some people just may not align with your values. We're not talking about good and bad here. We're talking about wise and unwise, skillful or unskillful, right? Because we're business people. We're good people, but we can't change the daggone world unless we have time, money, and freedom to do it. So we have to build our business. So here's the deal. With the Hounds itself, that's a great place to start. If other things aren't working, I've been in networking, I've tried communities. Yeah, me too. Okay. And it's not the only option, but we have an ecosystem. It's not just us. We're like, think of it like this. I'm like country Dr. X, right? The X-Men. If we see something out there happening, we're not going to duplicate it, right? We're going to partner with it. And that's what we did with folks like Pantheon, right? Phil Connector Community. We have tons of them. Why? Because we're here to serve. Maybe what I have in the Hounds is what you need. Maybe you need a media network. When you have an event or a podcast and no one shows up, that's a problem, right? So what do? We post it in there so we can support one another. April Wyatt's in here, right? She knows how that works. She goes out, puts people on the show. The Hounds show up, partners show up, and things get done, right? So you'll hear this a lot in ecosystem. We'll say, where's the sales pitch? Dadgummit, we don't need it. Why? And here's the bottom line. Here's the tenet of what we do. And start here, because if it ain't for you, I'll walk you somewhere it might be. But here's the bottom line. Advertising is, we pay for it. It's all about us. And nothing's wrong with that. If you're good at that, I'm jealous. I spent 40 years trying to get good at that. And people expect it. But folks, understand what we're talking about here. What they don't expect is hundreds and thousands of super pros of all walks of life to run around on and offline, LinkedIn and elsewhere, and say you're great. But you can't buy that at the daggum corner store, and you can't manufacture that, because no one's going to run around and say we're great and risk their livelihood that took the blood, sweat, and tears to build, right? So that's what I mean. When people see genuine, organic authenticity, it's intentional. But when you surround yourself with birds of a feather and flock together, dadgummit, you're going to dump gas on all the processes, all your marketing, all your efforts go amplified. So that's what we've got here. So it's like, well, now I'm getting the engine built, right? Get the car ready, the Lamborghini, right? This branding, clarity. Oh, now let's go drive it on the track, right? Let's go out there and get it done, folks. And I tell you, I speak from experience, not to go on, but I'm just saying, if traditional markets and methods don't work for you, maybe it's something different. Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's alignment. Maybe it's a values issue. And try us out. If not, we'd send you somewhere else. But we want to see you get unstuck. And I know we got the next one. But folks, we are done seeing people who could make cancer survival rates go up, who could help people in the underserved communities. We're the ones that are doing it now. That's why we build our business. It's great to take care of ourselves, but we want to do more with that time and money. And that's why I want you to make sure that this is not just no other group. Right? We built from the inside out. And if you're out there thinking you stink at X and stink at business and stink at social media, hey, so did I. Maybe this is where you need to be. So that's all I wanted to say, because I know there's some strays out there, and I don't want y'all to miss out. Oh, and as far as the alignment, listen, I'm not even bragging that I'm on here. Here's what I'm going to brag about, if I ever brag, is I was able to get other people here, right? There's things that you don't know exist, can't have access to, or sometimes can't afford. So through this ecosystem, Merry Christmas. It's like connecting. It's like Redneck Business Cupid. Oh, hey, you got great content. They need it. Boom, right? And this is what I mean, folks. If you're like, oh, this sucks. No, what you're doing may just not be for you. Come in here and join Redneck Camelot. Check it out. So, all right, I'm done. I just had to get that off, because
I want to piggyback on it. I can't say enough good about it. The Hounds of Business is an incredible group. I've been a part of BNIs. I've been a part of business and networking. I've been a part of all of that. And I can tell you that none of them work, like even in small communities and stuff. And, there may be some BNI experts out there. So I'm not beating you up on it. But I can tell you that from a sincerity standpoint, the Hounds of Business matched everything that every other networking group I've ever wanted me to be a part of it. They're the ones that have done it. I mean, they're heart-centered individuals, highly successful people who are interested in your success. Like, that is very important. And that referral mouthpiece is so strong. And the alignment, like, for instance, I have to say this, we don't write books, but we build brands. And one thing that is a great brand promoter is a book. Right. But we have a referral partner, Mike DeLeon, who builds incredible books, right? The best of the best at this. That is a partnership alignment where he doesn't build a brand. We don't write a book. We have the same client. And so there's strength in the numbers of that. Hounds of Business brings that to you because there is hundreds of professions in that group.
So true. All right, let's move on to the number 5 reason you may have unqualified people on your calendar, and that is the referral trap. Okay, I know this is going to hit at the nerve of some of you. Yeah, this
is the one
because it really hits at my nerve as well. Now, people have great intentions when they're introducing you to somebody else. They just may not be thinking those intentions through. Oh, you need to meet so and so, right? My favorite introduction. This is sarcasm, by the way, is, hey, Tanya, meet so-and-so. So-and-so, meet Tanya. I think you guys could do some great business together. I'll let you take it from here. Okay, what? Right? Great. Very nice of somebody to want to introduce me. But for what purpose, right? And so how do we fix this? Let's just move on, right? Because it's really important to have those calls pre-screened before they hit your calendar. And you want to make sure that you're addressing that. Mm-hmm. So how do we tackle this? Number 1, choose your partners very carefully, okay? And then clarify your client needs. I just had another meeting last week with a new, what we call them what's next partners. Once the brand is built, what do they want to achieve next? Do they want to write a book? Do they want to join a community? Do they want to start their own podcast? Do they want to get on paid stages, start a TED Talk, etc.? We have partners for every one of those roles, right? Met with another one last week and talked to him about the fact of, here's exactly the type of clients that are a perfect fit for us. You send me these clients, tell me who yours are, right? That's really critical to have that conversation, because we don't want just a bunch of introductions. Do you know how much time you can spend on those? I have a feeling you do. Okay. All right. And then warm up prospects with aligned content. So a lot of times if somebody introduces me and I'm not really sure if that person's seeking branding, right? And so I don't know if I'm going to want to get on a phone call with that person and talk about, I don't even know what yet, right? It's really important that we protect our time. I may send something to them in advance. Hey, take a look at this. If this really resonates with you, let's go ahead and meet. Right. And that's something I've done in advance, created content to explain like what the problem is what are the problems we solve? How do we do that, et cetera. And it really helps. It really helps to align that phone call a little bit better.
Yeah. Other ways that you could attack this is offer a group setting to learn more. Very good tool to take a lot of different prospects. And then you get on the phone with somebody and they're like, well, I mean, I sell purple widgets, and you don't need the purple widgets. You can just say, hey, I have a group call for this kind of conversation. Let me send you the link. Right. And then you join that group call. It's a good way that you're not just denying somebody that because their hopes and dreams are tied up in their purple widget that you don't need. Right. And who knows, you might run into somebody tomorrow that needs a purple widget. Right. So group setting is a great way to take care of that. Having a backup plan for misalignments. I just gave you an example of one of those, and then set your meetings to 15 minutes, which is really good, especially if you don't know why you're meeting with the person. So like in sales, you guys know this is 101, right? When you have somebody on the phone, you want to set the next expectation, right? You need an agenda on the phone call. What are we trying to accomplish on this phone call? And when you take the time to have a meeting with your alignment partners, and then you say, okay, send me this person directly. But if they fall into this category, send them here to my link from my group call. Then you're beginning to free up your calendar for very important things, exactly. which might be, lead generation of your own, rather than explaining what you do to somebody that doesn't need what you do yet, or can't afford what you're doing yet. And, and of course, putting in at that 15-minute mark, you're able to say, oh, well, we're coming up on the last minute right here. What's the best way for me to contact you, or blah, blah, blah. Right. Mm-hmm. So these are some really good plans to keep that wasted phone time and wasted, time, right? We're all equal when it comes to time. Everybody's time is extremely valuable. And to maximize that, you want to make sure you're talking to the right people.
Exactly. And here's just an example of the type of content that I'll send to people if I'm not really sure if they're a good candidate, right? I'll say, hey, there's a video that I did called Change How You're Seen and Charge What You're Worth. And it really explains the type of people we work with, the type of issues they have, what we can do for them, how that works, et cetera. And it really does help set that phone call up. And I want to say one other thing that I feel is really, really important. We're all kind people here, right? And I know, I see a lot of the names on here, and I know quite a few of them, and I know they're super kind, wonderful people. Nobody wants to turn somebody down that may need some help.
Right.
Even if it's just some free advice, right? We don't want to do that, but we have to be smart about doing it in the right setting. Mm-hmm. So we can't take our one-to-one call, which should be reserved for qualified candidates that are there to really discuss what it looks like to work with us, right? Let's explore what that looks like. We can't take that time for all sorts of other questions, because you'll do one-on-one times all week long, and you will get burned out before you can say what's going on.
Never sell a thing.
Never sell a thing. That's so true.
It's really important.
So true. And I'll let Mike pick it up from here.
Can I say two more things?
Yeah.
I teach this to my real estate agents, guys. We cannot make assumptions. Okay. That is a terrible thing. That's a terrible habit to be in. All right. So I teach my agents, don't you ever assume from the way a message comes across that a person doesn't have money, doesn't qualify, doesn't want to buy what you're selling, you have to figure that out through qualifying questions like we talked about earlier on. But what we're trying to do here is to give you options to find out, okay, they're not a fit. They're not going to list my house. They're not going to buy my product. They're not going to be. You are still being a very service-oriented, wonderful human being if you have those peripheral partners to say, but I do know who you need. And you've got that agreement with those alignment partners on how to present that person that could be their need. Hey, Take it away, Michael Asherbrenner. I got you this client right here. He's perfect for you. He needs you more than he needs me. Take it away, right? And then that's a great handoff. You've served the client. You haven't made the assumption that he's just a tossable, right? They walk away with a good taste in their mouth about you, how kind you are, and then you've just helped a friend.
Exactly. Mike?
That could be summed up in 2 words. What us are about, but the hounds of business and the friends of the hounds, best interest. See, that's the thing. You come to me saying, I need your help. I need sponsorships or visibility or coaching. And I go, no. After I do the doctor duty, right, diagnose and all that, I say, what you actually need is X. And we send them there. And people go, well, that's nice. No, listen, it's happening like clockwork. Every group call I have, it once a week, someone goes, hey, I spent 10 grand on this thing. It was not a good fit for me. It didn't work. And now I'm 10 grand. But people are not just losing money. They're losing heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And so what's the solution? Well, the ecosystem. If I kick you to Tanya and she's not a great fit, she's going to send you somewhere else. Not only because she's a nice lady, but here's the deal. She's not going to ruin her amazing reputation doing something silly. That's how she built the reputation, on honesty. So that's what we were just restoring the integrity back into the tools that often have been misaligned, folks. And number 2, we went 40 minutes and Michael Carr didn't mention his great pappy or his grandpappy once. And I'm that's not because I was going to say everybody needs to get a country papaw. If you don't have one, borrow one. You learn.
Well, I did say it was somebody else's grandpa that said it's just as easy to feed a good horse as it is to feed a bad one. So it just wasn't my grandpa, but I still got in a little quip. So.
But that's okay. And I'm going to tell a true story. Tanya, I'm sorry ahead of time, but I just tell true stories because that's how we can relate to things. And people know it's definitely not made up. But if you're looking at the screen, folks, what I'm saying is everybody's focused on content, especially on social media, Lineable, LinkedIn, and they're focused on, just getting out good content. What about viral comments? What about curiosity and value? And so I'm going to give you a real story. Sorry, I didn't pre-screen that, but just like here with Megan, right? Seeking to bring value. First of all, when's the last time someone indicated they actually read your stuff that you posted, right? And you can tell they just read it, or it's an automated response. So let me put it this way. I'm sorry, but I have to share this because it's changed your life, folks. It's changed your business. So I had a client a little while back wanted to join, group coaching. And she says, well, Mike, do you think my clients are on LinkedIn? I said, great question. And she said, well, I said, who do you serve? She said, well, usually, around 40, 50-year-old menopausal women. She said, do you think they're here? Now I started smiling because I get a DM once a week to join a menopause webinar, right? So, because I'm the connector, I get it all, folks. So I get this and I thought, wow. So listen, stop here. All right. Think about this. If the redneck connector, if I make an intelligent post, maybe using a tool or AI comment on menopause, who's going to believe that? In fact, I'll argue a lot of times these things can hurt your reputation rather than align it, right? Mm-hmm. So if I speak out of turn to look smart, I'm actually not going to look right. So here's what I did. And here's what I encourage you all to do. I'll put this in the chat on YouTube. Go download the free engagement guide and practice what I'm telling you. So here's what I did. I popped into her and said, hey, so glad you are helping ladies who need it the most. Do you know my friend X? She also helps the similar women in a different way. This might be cookies or milk. You two should talk. And then I left. And what happened? The bug zapper effect, right? Oh, hey, who's this guy? Right? They go to your profile. Does it attract and repel? Is it dialed in? Are you branded? Are you clear? And then number 3, content, folks. See, That is the opposite methodology, right? And think about it. If you don't do it in dating, dadgummit, don't do it in marketing. All y'all be single right now if you did that stuff in dating or friendships or any other relationships. So just recalibrate, right? You're surrounded by good people. You don't have to learn it all today. Just take baby steps. And that's why we have the community. So you can go in there and mess it up and not get laughed at and figure it out. So you can go change the dadgum world with us. All right, I'm done. I'm calm now.
No, that's a great point. That's in connecting people and not just saying you should meet, here you go, meeting each other, like you should meet this person. And so they can take up time on your calendar. It's like, hey, you should get to know this person. That's what I call a connection via that, viral comment versus an introduction. You two should spend time on each other's, calendars, right? Yeah. So, and then let's just assume for a minute that, you get some of these connections. Well, you don't want to be a jerk about it, right? If somebody says you guys should meet, then this is, you guys are welcome to steal this, right? Or modify it however you want. But I just respond to both. Hey, I'm so pleased to be introduced to you. Let's say Mike's the one that introduced me. Mike, thank you so much for your kind words. Just a quick question so I know how best to serve you. Are you looking for help with branding? Or are you seeking to guest on more podcasts? They know we're podcasters. They know we have a podcasting group call. It's, most of the time. So I'm trying to figure out which lane to put them in. As those are different conversations with different team members here, I just want to make sure I'm laser focused on where I can help. We'd love to assist you. That's not saying I don't want to take time to talk to you. I do. I want to know which lane to put them in, right?
Sure.
So that we can serve them the best way possible, right? And protect our own time and our own calendars in the process by making sure we're putting them on the phone or on a Zoom call with the right person that can help them. So I think that if this helps you guys, because I know there are a lot of unqualified introductions going on out there. Everybody, they join these groups and it's like, okay, well, let's just start introducing each other to a bunch of people and maybe we'll just get some business going here, right? It's really not how it works. It has to be very intentional and very thoughtful in order to work like that. And having those conversations about which clients you really want and understanding which clients they want is the first step in respecting each other's calendar and time. All right. Okay. So I want to share with you guys a particular offer here. If anybody's been on this call and you're thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe I've got a problem that Mike can help me with, or I've got a problem that Tanya and Michael can help me with. If you guys are interested in looking at and exploring what it looks like to work with both of us, perhaps, because we are that 1-2 punch, Mike is our coach. He is our community and LinkedIn coach, right? And so if you are interested in seeing what it's like to work with both of us, we actually have a very special offer going on right now that our entire profit alignment program, which is where we teach you how to generate leads and close sales. That program is valued at $7,500. If you end up working with both of us, we will bonus you that particular program. So that's a $7,500 gift. Okay. Now, I say that knowing that some people are sitting there thinking, aren't you pitching me? Okay, I understand that. We just gave a whole lot of value. I'm not pitching, I'm offering you options, right? We always like to say, I'm not selling you something. I can't sell you something that you don't want to buy. I can only give you options. And if it fits where you are and you'd like help from us, I'm happy to talk to you about that. If you don't feel that it's a fit, no harm done. Hopefully you got a lot of value here today, and hopefully we'll still see you around and we'll see you inside LinkedIn, and we will support you and comment on your stuff and love you and all of that. But if you do have interest here, here's what I want you to do. I want you to click on one of these QR codes, and some of our team's going to put some of the links in here too if you don't want to click that QR code. But if you want to talk about potentially doing business with both of us, scan the brand face link. I'll have a chat with you guys about that. If you are interested in doing business with Mike and being part of his community, there are different things that you can do inside of the Hounds of Business community. And Mike is an exceptional coach. We can say that from experience. He's helped us grow tremendously. So if you would like to work with him, scan his QR code. Either way, you're going to get one of us and explore what that looks like to work with us and for us to help you build your brand and get connected to the right people to build your business. That's what we're here for, guys. So want to leave that up. And Mike, I want to hand it over to you and let you do any closing remarks, and we can see if we have any questions at all from the audience as well.
Yeah, folks, you got a question, put it up there and we'll try to get to it. But thank you for this. And sometimes I laugh because I'm like, that sounds like a sales. It's not a sales tag. I mean, it's the God honest truth, folks. I hate sales calls. When I show up, I show up and I want to be a strategic partner. I want to help you. I want to work with you. I want to connect you to people, places, collaborations. And yes, if I have something you need, dadgummit, yeah, I want to help you. I would love to be you to be my client. But if not, that's the point. And it's not just because we're nice people. I'm a lazy marketer. Listen, if I go out there and do the right thing and don't sell bald people haircuts, and they go out there and the next time they hear people complaining and going, oh, I just don't know how to stop this, I don't know how to fix this. Hey, I know a redneck, right? I know a Tanya, I know a Michael Carr, I know a brand face. That's what we're doing here. It's just real. And why? Because we faced this stuff. We went out there and faced all this stuff out there and had to learn the hard way. And it just pains me to see people taking 2 or 3 years repeating the mistakes that we're helping you circumvent today. And that's the honest truth. I mean, so if you have interest, great. If not, come to the Hounds Call. DM me on LinkedIn. Just get it around. Just watch. Just come to the event. We have a networking. Welcome to join us. Just pop in and see how it is. But DM me on LinkedIn. That's where I live. And if you have any questions or anything, just shoot it. Just give us the message. But we're good to go. So Thank you.
I want to address.
Do we have some questions?
Yeah, I do want to address something Shine said. Shine, you're awesome. Thank you for coming today. She said, at first I was annoyed by the pitch slapping. Now I get it. Yes, once I began gearing conversations toward clarity and future connections, I began seeing a huge bump in better business conversions. That's so true. Listen, let me tell you guys something. There's nothing wrong with asking for the opportunity to work with somebody, especially once you've come and you've delivered some value, you've taught them some things, taken time out of your day, right? Your time is valuable too, as a coach or consultant or expert, to come out and share some value with somebody. And then if you feel like you've shared enough value, you can say, hey, if there's something here that you guys see, maybe you could use some help, give us a call. Let's talk about what it looks like, explore what it looks like to work with us, right? And nobody's making you click that call. Nobody's making anybody book something with you, right? And when you come to a presentation like this, you're going to get an offer of some type at the end, or a link to learn more or anything. There was an awesome, I'm trying to remember his last name. Please forgive me. May he rest in peace. He was a fantastic coach in the media world that I knew years ago. His first name was Dave, and I'm having trouble with the last name. But he said, ask and you get, don't and you won't. And that is true. Imagine if we did this today and we delivered some great value. Yes, you guys could hunt us down. All you have to do is Google us. We're all over the first several pages of Google, both of us, right? You can find us. But why don't I just make it easier for you if you're sitting there thinking, I've got a problem with that, right? I might need some help. At least I'd like to see what direction they would send me in. Absolutely. Here's the link. Feel free to do that, right? So pitch slapping is trying to sell somebody something before you even have delivered any value, right? Give before you take. And when you do something like this, or have somebody to a group call and you're sharing your wisdom, you're sharing your information and things that are going to help them grow their business, you have every right to say, hey, you want to learn more? Just click here. Mm-hmm. It's very easy. They click it or they don't, right? And if they do, that's great, because that's one step closer to being a really good candidate for you. If they don't click it, that's absolutely fine. That's somebody who just doesn't need your services right now.
Ooh, and sometimes when you're dialed in and you think, what happened? This person's not aligned with me. How did they sneak through the filter? Oh no, let me spoil it for you. Because somebody here, as an afterthought, I was getting off, somebody who was in the comments today, I was getting off the call, and I said, hey, by the way, because it was a great person, I love them. I said, they got to know people that would want to do this with me, right? So I said, hey, by the way, if you know X, Y, and Z, and they said, wait a minute, that's me. Okay, now here we go. Now we're working together here soon. Yeah. So that's what I mean. By the way, I thought there was a man in the Hounds that sold razor blades. I don't know where I got that, folks. I'm a different breed. But I did. I thought he sold razor blades for like 9 months. Well, I'm over here talking and throwing out some things and big names that we were working on. And he says, what about X? Big. And I said, what's razor blade man know about that? See, you didn't. What we were doing, because remember, folks, everybody's been screwed by someone, so no one trusts anyone. What he was trying to do is make sure that we're actually birds of a feather, right? Hey, is Mike trustworthy? Is Mike consistent? Is Mike going to try to do that? Right. And I was doing the same thing. Hey, who's this guy? What's he all about? And that natural conversation. So what I mean is, when you come to the Hounds or other networking events and you dialed in and you're being intentional and you go, oh my goodness, I'm in the wrong crowd. Be patient. Be patient, because they're not going to just jump out and go, hey, I got contacts. Shh, right. Everybody will be bothering them. So understand that deeper connection. It may look like blah, blah, blah on the surface, but if you're showing up and you're dialing in, it's like planting a seed. Don't dig it up and scream at it and check it every day. Plant the seed and water the daggone thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, beanstalk. So they just have fun. I'm just having a ball here. I just want people to get it, because my pain is every day I remember how horrible it was. And just because I didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't have the support of these two amazing people who practice what they preach, they reached out to me through the kitchen sink, and look what happened, right? That's what happens when you learn what you just don't know. You're a good person. You can do this. You just got to figure out what you don't know, folks. If it's us, great. If it's not, go out there and get what you need. We need you. The world needs you.
Yes.
So
and
true.
I'd like to say something in lieu of another question here. They, being in the real estate business, like we're constantly sales, obviously. And I have had 2 recruits in the past month that have come back to us. One came back after 3 months of interviewing with us. The other came back after 2 years of interviewing with us, because we're still doing what we told them we would do then. And the people that they both chose were lied to them, and one of them took a little bit longer to figure that out. But they come back to us. So yeah, like Mike said, don't dig up your seed and scream and yell at it because it's not growing fast enough. Like once you do things with integrity and you put them out there like that, it is remembered. It's very hard for you to remember that in the face of no phone call back. But you've created that ripple effect, and that honesty and integrity that you're doing, it does come back to you, right? And so you have to be consistent. That's my favorite word. Be consistent at what you're doing here, because you just don't know what's out there coming back that's realizing, you know what, I sniffed around these other places over here and they lied. That's not true. I need to come back to where I'm at home.
Be an oak tree and a sea of tumbleweeds.
There you go.
Because people know, I'm telling you, high value people spread word like wildfire. And then all of a sudden you get all these appointments. You're like, where'd it come from? People talking good about you because they see your fruit. They see your value. They see your heart. So I'm done.
Well, let's wrap this up by just recapping here for everybody the 5 things, the 5 missteps that are going to keep those unqualified people on your calendar, and you don't want this, okay? Sea of Sameness, number 1 misstep. Get out of it. Differentiate yourself. That, my friends, is called personal branding, okay?
Gotta do it.
Misstep number 2 is the lead illusion. You have to understand exactly who you want to attract and understand who's committed and who's just window shopping. All right. And a lot of that has to do with how you present yourself as well.
Amen.
Number 3, out of season strategy. You're doing the right things, but you're doing them at the wrong time, which means you're doing the wrong thing. Okay. Let's just be real about it. You're doing the wrong thing. Right. So be easy on yourself, but stop the train in its tracks, pull it back just a little bit, and look at where you're going. All right. Number 4.
That's an ongoing practice too.
It sure is.
You never stop doing that.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And then the time vampire, you're spending time in the wrong rooms with the wrong prospects. Check out Hounds of Business if you haven't yet, because I think you'll find yourself at home there. And then misstep number 5 is the referral trap. And we've shown you a couple of different ways to get around that. Yes, we want people to introduce us to people, but we
Absolutely.
we want to do it thoughtfully.
Huge.
Right?
That's
We
huge
really,
part of your business.
because your time is very, very valuable. And before you know it, you can get to the end of the week and have 25 one-on-one calls, and 24 of them will be calls that did not need to happen because they were just looking for something that you didn't have. They were never going to become a client, those kinds of things. You know it. I don't even have to say anything more. I know you've lived it because we've lived it. All right. And so those are the 5 things you want to avoid. And hopefully today's presentation will help you get a lot closer to getting those qualified leads on your calendars. So I want to thank you to my illustrious 2 co-hosts here, Mike Asherbranner and my better
You're illustrious,
half.
Mike.
Yes, you're illustrious. Yes. And my illustrious better half here.
As long as my hat's on today. My haircut didn't go. Yeah.
Well, it's time to jump out to the next meeting, but thank you guys so much for joining us today. And Mike, thank you. It's always such a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.